Hey, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. Yes, this is another The Mandalorian review. I don't know if I'm going to do the entire season, but considering I'm enjoying the show so far and I have the time at the moment, why not? So, let's get into it. The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 2, Chapter 10, The Passenger. I quite like this one. It wasn't as good as the season premiere, nor do I think it will go down as one of the more memorable episodes of the show, simply because it was a nice little world-building story but didn't really have any message to convey or connect with. Yes, there was the whole frog lady thing where she was trying to perpetuate her lineage, but the importance of that was completely undercut by the humor of Baby Yoda eating the eggs. That being said, it was a fun little adventure. There was some nice comedy, some good action, an interesting glimpse at how the Star Wars universe is holding together in that time frame, politically speaking, and the whole thing wrapped up real quick. Like, this episode had a very short runtime, which I personally don't think was a bad thing at all. Having spoken to some friends, it would seem a few people would have enjoyed seeing a conclusion to the story of the frog lady and her eggs, and I do understand where they're coming from, but I didn't need that. On the contrary, I like that the show doesn't hesitate to play around with its format. This episode clearly wanted to just tell the story of our protagonists stranded on an alien world, and that's what we got. Considering there was nothing deeper or more complex to that story, making the episode shorter, I think, was a good move. No need to bloat it with elements that'll just, drag on for too long. As usual, the visual effects were fantastic. Some of the blood from the spider creatures was maybe a tad below the quality of what this show usually delivers, but that doesn't mean it was bad by any means. And those gorgeous ship shots when they were entering the atmosphere more than made up for that. I didn't mention this in my previous video, but the makeup and prosthetics on this show are always amazing and flawless, and this episode was no exception. And it's not just that it's high quality. All of these alien species, designs, and the way the masks and the prosthetics are modeled and move on screen really give off this original Star Wars trilogy vibe. In my opinion, that really goes a long way when it comes to world building, and it shows a lot of respect to the original source material. Okay, I guess there's not that much more for me to say. For those of you that are used to my channel, you're probably expecting me to go over the Easter eggs and references I could find like I do for my Star Trek reviews, but as I mentioned in my previous The Mandalorian video, I don't know enough about Star Wars to even consider doing that, so I'll limit myself to my thoughts and opinions. Good episode. Ironically, I've said online that no episode of The Mandalorian can really be considered filler because it's not a heavily serialized show, and yet The Passenger did kind of feel that way. Filler episodes, for those of you that don't know, are usually ones that don't move the plot of the season forward. They don't introduce any new major characters or significantly alter existing relationships, and come to be only because each season needs a certain number of episodes. A lot of the Netflix shows do this. They need their 13, so some of the episodes are filler. This concept is very much a modern one and applies mostly to serialized shows. Something like Star Trek The Next Generation, for example, back in the day, didn't have an overarching plot for every season. Each episode was its own story. It would be ridiculous to call that show out for having filler episodes, because by today's standards, the entire show would be filler. Strangely enough, even if The Mandalorian finds itself being semi-serialized, in the sense that each episode is its own thing, but there still is a distant ultimate goal to get to, I would consider it much more like The Next Generation, or even something like The Orville, than say The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones. Long story short, I don't think any episodes in The Mandalorian can be called filler, but if we were to really find one, this would be one of them. Not the previous one, for example. Anyway, moving on. Sorry for that tangent. As I was saying, good episode, nice creature designs, simple yet effective little story, cute moments, fun moments. I disagree with Jesse Gender when it comes to saying that episode 1 didn't have anything important to say, any important message, but I do think that would be a fair assessment for this episode. It doesn't change the fact that it was good entertainment, and I still cannot wait to see where the season leads us. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. You can support this channel on Patreon, and as usual, live long and prosper.